I'm Bob Kraus. I'm president of the Veterans National Recovery Center. And today I'd like to talk about Silt, Sustainable Iowa Land Trust. Now, this is not your normal veterans program, but it is. When I was a young boy growing up on a farm, my father had PTSD. And my parents would often talk about the farmers in the neighborhood that had the obvious signs of PTSD. We did not know what PTSD was then, but they had those signs. They were loners. They had tended to have heavy drinking problems because there was insomnia, really severe insomnia. They could blow up. They had problems. They were all World War II vets. Now today we have many PTSD veterans from a more modern war, but we don't have the farms that work as a kind of cocoon for PTSD vets that did have a problem. Why is a farm a good place for a PTSD sufferer? Well, a PTSD veteran has relational problems often, especially when untreated. When the person comes back, there'll be problems with family members. Perhaps there'll be a divorce. Perhaps there'll be a fight with an employer, an employee. Other distant family members, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins will tend to fall away because of that prickly, high anxiety behavior that sometimes, not always, but sometimes comes from post-traumatic stress disorder. How do you deal with it? Well, if you can't, a farm is a great place to be. You're alone. You're dealing with a process that you watch things grow and it'll help you heal. And it gives you that time and the space you need. So what do we do to get that farm? You come out of the service, you don't have any money, you don't have much opportunity, but you might be able to get a farm. And to start this, I'd like to talk to Mary Ellen Miller, because Mary Ellen Miller has a farm for you. Mary Ellen?
I'll talk a little bit about the farm because one of the things that I think is a good match for a veteran is it's very isolated. It's in southern, central, rural Iowa, one of the least populated counties, Wayne, less than 5,000 people. I have a total of 40 acres. Most of it is in timber, pond, and buildings, so about half available for traditional kind of growing or pasturing land. Historically, this part of the state of Iowa has been mostly ranch land. So we would expect to see cattle, and currently my tenant has a small herd that he seasonally runs on my pasture. What I see going down the future, though, is a real interest in local foods. I moved to this farm in retirement because I wanted to go back to where I grew up, and that was to return to my roots of growing my own food. I did that as a child. I said I'd never go back to the farm. I didn't like the isolation. I didn't like the dirt and dust. And I didn't like the labor involved in growing our own food. But today, I see a food system that doesn't provide me healthy food. And I always say to people, watch what I'm doing, because what I do is what more people down the road will do. I have a strong sense that this whole local food effort is going to just blossom and balloon. And so I predict that we're going to have more people like me, not only wanting to grow our own food, but also to buy food locally. And I see this as a real opportunity. Now, my location has some challenges to a farmer. That's why I'm thinking a veteran would be good. It's going to require someone with some maturity. One, certainly there is the isolation, yes. But there's also that healthy piece of watching things grow, whether it's crops or livestock. But then again, as I described earlier, my land is pretty isolated. So again, my thinking is a veteran would like that. I could see small livestock like rabbits, goats, sheep maybe. I could see high tunnels for vegetables. I'm currently planting fruit and nut trees so that there's a diversity of products available going ahead. I also see a potential that we could break out of the mold and say this farmer could be seasonal. My current tenant is seasonal. The cows come in the spring, they go home to his barns in the winter. So we could think that it doesn't have to be 12 months a year around the calendar, that you could maybe say, okay, I'd like to go south for 3 or 4 months, as many of us tend to want to do. So all kinds of configurations could happen here.
Well, that's a great opportunity for someone. And I think that if you are a veteran or if you're a family member of a veteran with PTSD, tell them about this opportunity, because it may be just the right thing for that troubled soul to find a bit of peace. Now, there's a bigger picture in which this farm fits into, and it's part of the Silt image. And I know that sounds a little funny, but there is an image to this. It's a trust. And it's something that we hope will help many veterans get into the farming industry. And so I'm going to talk to Susan Aram next. And Susan is going to tell me a bit about the Silt program. Susan?
We created the Sustainable Iowa Land Trust to start diversifying Iowa's agriculture, and also to create an opportunity for young farmers and new farmers to come back onto the land. As the farms in Iowa are getting bigger and bigger and more just 1 or 2 crops, it's getting harder and harder for new people to get into farming. So the land trust model allows you to lease the land itself for as long as you like, and your children can inherit that land lease, your grandchildren, as long as they're on the ground and they're farming. But you get to own all the infrastructure on top of the ground. You get to have the pride of ownership of the home, the barns, the business, the fences, all the other work that you put into it. And when you're done farming, or your family's done farming, you can sell that infrastructure to the next farmer for that property. Mary Ellen gave us her deed. She gave the deed to Silt, but she maintained the other rights of ownership. When Mary Ellen is done on that farm, moves off, or passes away, that opportunity will become a lifetime opportunity for the next farmer. But for now, I think she's actually an excellent partner, because Mary Ellen was a 4-H rabbit champion. She was a cow-calf operator. She knows a lot more about farming than you might think if you just look at her at a glance.
So somebody that didn't really know much about farming could treat Mary Ellen as his or her mentor.
That's
and stay on the farm and learn and have somebody with them for a period of time to get up and running, to know the nuts and bolts, figure out how the pump works when the pump goes bad, those kinds of things.
Exactly.
And that's an important thing. And so you have this one farm, but are you looking for other farms in this situation?
Right. We not only have this farm, we're looking for landowners in Iowa who are interested in protecting their farm in this way, so we can be the steward of that land for generations to come. We also have another model, which is some farms we receive, the landowners are okay with us selling them with a land protection agreement attached. And right now we have one of those, 53 acres in Honey Creek, Iowa, 10 minutes from downtown Omaha. 53 acres for only $270,000. If it were selling to an urban professional, it would be worth more than $500,000. So there's 2 different ways. That would be private ownership, your ownership. We would just come out and check on it once in a while. And in this case, you don't have to put any money down for Mary Ellen's farm. You just come right on and start farming at a very affordable rate.
So it's something that instead of paying $1 to $5 million to get into farming, you've got a way to get into it. Not much more than the cost of a decent house.
Kind of like renting to own.
Yeah,
Yes.
so rent to own. So you get on the land. Now the land stays with the trust, so the land will never leave farming. Even if you're close to Omaha, even if you're close to Des Moines, even if you're close to greater metropolitan Corridon, the land will not be developed except for farming.
Right.
So it preserves a tradition of family ownership of farms. As the price goes up, you don't benefit from that, but at the same time, the next person coming in can benefit because of the low entry-level costs.
Right.
And I think that's just a wonderful program, and I think of so many veterans, especially those with PTSD that I know, that would really benefit from something like this.
But we know that everyone starting farming needs help. And needs a broad support network and expertise, and that's what Joe does for us.
Yeah, okay, and it's Joe Klingelhutz.
Klingelhutz.
And Joe is the staff for Silt. And Joe, would you like to tell a little bit about what you do and what the technical support elements that you can offer to that new farmer?
So I work with the Sustainable Iowa Land Trust as the farm specialist, and so I work as a liaison between the private landowners who want to donate their land for sustainable food production, as well as the people who want to get into farming, who want to find access to land, and work with those farmers along the way throughout that sustainable food production. So doing site visits and incorporating the right maps and figuring out what wants to grow on the land for that farmer, and making sure that we do it in a sustainable and healthy way for the land, for the water, and for the people of Iowa and this country. So we want to make it accessible for people to grow food here in this state, and we want to work with the people who want to do that and the people who are doing that right now. So if there is someone who wants to donate land, I'll be the one to contact, to go out and visit the farms, see what's going on there. Also, people who are interested in finding land, contacting me and figuring out what is the best fit for a new farmer and how we can help them with that. So we hope to help people with PTSD find access to land to grow food.
And if you want to get in touch with the people that can help you with Mary Ellen's farm, or view some of the other farms, or if you are live on a farm and you have no heirs and you'd like to see that land sustained into perpetuity in a sustainable farming method, just check on the website. The website is www.silt, S-I-L-T, T is in tango, .org, silt.org. Check there and you get the contact information, and you can talk personally to these ladies and this gentleman. And we thank you, all four of us now, for checking this out. It's a great opportunity, and thanks to Mary Ellen and the people that are making this opportunity available if you want to be a farmer, especially if you've got PTSD. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.